Country boy. I get up before the rooster, put on my camo, load up my bow and my rifle and stock the ammo. I'm a bullet with the bullet, but I'm lethal with the arrow. Always down for the hunt, dove turkey and big bucks. Hit the woods and get fitted up. Mossy oak all across my fit, don't be surprised we do this too. I be up before the sun with my 30 at 6. Hard body on, I ain't worried about the kick. Yeah, we do this too.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the We Do This Too Outdoors podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Williamson, and we got a very, very special guest today. I found this guy on Instagram. You might have seen him in your Kentucky Fish and Wildlife brochure. You might have seen him on the front page. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kenton Bottoms the second. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you having me on here, buddy.
Yes, sir, man. It's been a long time coming, man. Found you a while back. I think on Instagram, might have been Facebook. I can't remember. Love what you're doing with Hunters of Color. Love what you're doing with the Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. Just introduce yourself, brother. Tell me who you are.
Well, like you said, my name's Kenton Bottoms. I'm from Central Kentucky, right here close to Frankfort. Been hunting and fishing for a long time. I think I started hunting when I was about 12 and was fishing probably before I could walk. So I've been in the outdoors for a long time. I got hooked up with Hunters of Color, became the state ambassador for Kentucky for them. Um, just been trying to push to get more minorities out there in the outdoors having fun.
That's what's up. So tell people about the Hunters of Color, because some people that I've talked to are very aware of that organization. Can you give us some background on them?
Yeah, so Hunters of Color is a nonprofit organization. It was started out in Oregon. Um, and so basically, it was started to try and get people of color outside hunting and fishing. It's mainly a hunting thing, but I mean they do some fishing stuff too. Um, it was started by three friends actually, um, and one who I communicate with the most, his name is Jimmy Flat. He's kind of like the main guy, if you will, out in Oregon, and so they kind of started up, and they kind of reached out to me on Instagram. I want to say 2-3 years ago, and they asked me if they could do a feature on me on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, that sounds great or whatever. And then so I did that, and I got to talking back and forth with some of those people, and they were like, oh, we're going to start up like state ambassadors. They were like, you should apply, and so I did, and I was kind of under the understanding that they were going to start out west, and it would be a while before they had something back east this way. But actually, I ended up being part of the first class of ambassadors that they had, and so kind of what we do as ambassadors are we host events or like go to different events in the state. Like coming up toward the end of August, I've got it'll be a shotgun one-on-one class that we're gonna do. Um, actually well, yeah, the weekend of what is it, the first weekend in June, or the first real weekend in June, I'll be down in Western Kentucky for the small game rendezvous. So with BHA, so that'll be pretty cool. But like I said, I mean, we kind of do different events and show up places, and we're just trying to, ease that barrier of entry for people for people of color to get out there.
For sure. I found the Hunters of Color on Instagram, and I reached out, and I was actually going to go to one of the events as an ambassador, but I couldn't get a hold of really anybody. It was a shotgun event, and I was like, well, I already know how to shoot a shotgun. I'm pretty good at one. I'm not a beginner. Like, I'd like to kind of help whoever's teaching the class, like help out a little bit. So once I did find out and get in touch with somebody, they brought me to you and said you were the state ambassador. So man, anytime you need my help, man, I'm down. I'm I can do a plethora of things. I'm good with a shotgun, a rifle, a bow. I
Yeah.
know boat and safety, even though I can't swim. Uh, I'm good with a fishing pole, man. Like
Uh,
I'd really like to, try to get in with you all as much as I can, man. Just kind of help y'all out and everything. But
Oh, definitely, man. We always need help. So, definitely. I mean, like, the event that's coming, the shotgun event that's going to be in August. It's kind of like we call it like kind of a pre-dove warm up. So it's
right,
kind of geared toward trying to get people out dove hunting or whatever. It'll be up here in Anderson County at Anderson County Sportsman's Club. I can get you
okay,
all the information if you can make it through, man. We'd love to have you up there because it's always good to have more people that have experience so they can kind of give people that hands-on experience. Because
right,
like I'm only one man, and sometimes people may be a little bit intimidated and stuff like that. So it kind of eases people's minds when people that look like them are the ones kind of trying to walk them through it. So
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. Plus, like I said, well, like you said, you're only one man.
mhm.
And I'm sure that you've got 1,000 people up there that are brand new to, they've never held a shotgun in their hand before, and you're trying to walk everybody through the same thing. I know they could probably get somewhat frustrating at times with just you. So
Yeah,
I
I mean,
understand
so
that.
yeah, usually I have some good volunteers that'll help out. Just the problem is I have a hard time getting volunteers that are also people of color. So
Right,
I do have help, but it's like as far as people of color, it's that's a little harder to get people to come through. That
right.
know what they're doing. And I understand like everybody's busy and stuff, but I mean it's an important mission, and people understand that. But no, definitely, man, I love to definitely get you up there, do some stuff like that. I know you said you shoot your bow a lot. There's actually a total archery challenge event coming up in southern Indiana,
Oh yeah,
and
I'm already signed up, Bowie. I'm already
oh,
signed up. Yep.
oh yeah, all right. So I will definitely have to see you up there because I'm planning on going. I've been shooting my bow a lot here lately, trying to get back dialed in. I actually used to work on bows. I used to work at the local sportsman's warehouse, and I was an archery tech over there. So I mean. And I mean, I've always shot bows. I mean, I've shot a bow since I started hunting and all that and stuff. But trying to get kind of more back into it, and like I started seeing some YouTubes on the total archery challenges and stuff like that, and it just got me amped up, man. Just seeing everybody out there having a good time and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, my best friend and I, Holden Reed, he's got a channel called Arrow Army. So you have to check him out. He does a lot of like ASA qualifiers and stuff like that. He shoots in the circuit.
What'd
Um,
you say his name was? I'm sorry, it cut out on me.
Holden Reed, HOLDUNREED. Holden
Holden
Reed.
Reed. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll definitely have to look him up because
yeah,
I want to get back into it and shooting and stuff, and I wouldn't mind to do a little competing. I never really competed in the past, but I mean, I've always been really good with the bow, so it's like it'd be something fun to get back into and stuff. But
yeah,
always archery hunted, so
yeah. I got Holden into archery, and he just took off with it. He was good from the jump, and I think it was 2 years ago we went to Belvedere, Tennessee, to the first tack that we'd been to, and we fell in love with it. And
yeah.
then last year we were supposed to go, um, but he and his wife, well, they weren't married yet. That's the weekend that they planned their wedding, so we couldn't go to
Uh,
the tack. So he's like, "Hey, bro, there's one in southeastern or southern Indiana
mhm.
at the farm, and we've been there a couple times. I actually took him there for part of like his bachelor party type thing, and he's like,
It's
"Man,
a
we need to
nice
sign up.
place.
It's a super nice
Yeah,
place."
it's
So,
because I've shot there before too. I've shot sporting there,
yeah,
and it's a really nice venue. I think it's going to be a really fun event. So
yeah, it's gonna
hopefully
be fun
we can meet up and shoot
for
something
sure.
together up
Yeah,
there.
I will be there, man. So we'll definitely have to find you and hook up for sure, man.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
how did you get hooked up with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife, man?
So fish and wildlife. I mean, growing up where I grew up, I always knew like a bunch of game wardens. There was growing up. I think there was 3 or 4 game wardens that lived in the same county as me. So
Wow.
I just I always kind of knew those people, and I'd see them when I was fishing and stuff like that, and so I knew them. And one of my good friends growing up, his dad was actually one of those people. His dad was a game warden, and so just kind of being around them and stuff like that. So I don't know, and I feel like being in Central Kentucky, like close to headquarters, like I don't know. I guess it kind of gets you on people's radar maybe a little easier, but so when I started like kind of doing stuff for him, my one of my best friends growing up, and I used to hunt a lot with him, and used to hunt his family. His mom and dad have a property. Actually, where I did that squirrel hunt that was on Kentucky a field a week or two ago, that was at his parents' place.
Okay, cool.
Well, one of his dad's best friends is like he works for Fish and Wildlife, and he does some. I'm not even sure what he does. I hope he doesn't see this because he'd be like, man, you don't know. But he works for Fish and Wildlife and does stuff with the magazine and the hunt guides and stuff like that. And so he was like, oh, I want to get a picture of y'all and of me and my buddy Joseph, and like, we'll put it in the magazine and put it on the thing, you know what I'm saying? And so he kind of did that, and fast forward to like college and stuff like that. I went to Western Kentucky University. Um,
Yeah, I'm a hilltopper too, homie.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, got a biology degree down there, and so I kind of, I always wanted to work for Fish and Wildlife, and so I went and got the degree and everything, and I was like, okay. So that was kind of like the next step in my process, or at least so I thought. And ended up my buddy, my best friend, the same one whose parents own that farm. He he went. He's a biology guy too, and he got on with Fish and Wildlife because he would do like summer internships and
Right.
stuff like that with them. So he got on with them, and they basically helped him go to get a master's degree through UK. And
Okay.
part of his research was deer research. So we were down in Clay County, Kentucky, doing a mortality study on deer. And so I worked for him, and that's when I really got to knowing people in Fish and Wildlife. So I worked for him through UK. Fish and Wildlife was kind of funding it, but it was through UK. And so we caught deer, did that for a year, and then kind of after our deer stuff was done, we would help them catch elk. And I had been down several times helping them catch elk because they would catch elk and they would, kind of move them to different areas in the elk zone and stuff like that. So I kind of been around that stuff even before I started working like that. But that's kind of what really made that stuff take off is, kind of getting to know him, getting to know all those people through him,
Right.
and then now it's kind of blossomed into, they know that I do stuff like, try to help people learn and stuff like that. And so I've helped them several times do like some field to fork stuff. I think they still use a little, it's kind of like a podcast, little video thing I did on archery hunting. Whenever, if you get drawn for an archery elk tag, I sat down with my buddy who's one of the biologists and a couple other people, and we kind of did a thing talking about, bow hunting elk. So I think they still like give that out to people whenever they get drawn for a archery elk tag. Um, I don't know. I ended up doing like just a bunch of stuff with them and stuff. So, but I've gained a lot of good contacts, and I use them, and they usually partner up with us on a lot of the stuff we do. Um, Back before turkey season, I did a shotgun patterning event, and they kind of helped sponsor that, and they brought some guns and furnished all the targets, brought turkey loads and stuff like that. So they really helped us out
That's awesome.
doing stuff like that. Hmm.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, I was watching. Actually, I was think I was at Academy in E Town, and buddy of mine, he was asking me a lot of questions about getting into hunting and stuff. So I just kind of took him to Academy, showed him around, like about the different camos for different types of gear and turkey loads, stuff like that. And he's like, "Hey man, do I need one of these brochures?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean it'd be good because all your regulations in there." And lo and behold, there you were. And I was like, I said, "Man, I got to get this guy on a podcast. I need to stop playing." I
Yeah,
said because this man, it seems like everywhere I look, there he is. And I'm like, yeah, I got to get in contact with him. From the Hunters of Color, now I'm seeing him on Kentucky Fish and Wildlife. I seen him on Kentucky Afield. I said, this is a guy I need to become friends with, and he's here in Kentucky. I mean, he's close.
Yes,
Most of the
sir. Yeah.
people that I've been reaching out to, they're in like southern Georgia or in Florida or somewhere in Iowa that far away, but you're pretty close. So yeah,
Oh yeah.
we're gonna have to connect and do some stuff, man, for sure. So
Oh no, for sure, man. Like I said, I'm always excited whenever I get to hunt with people of color. Just because it's something I didn't really do that much. I still haven't done that much.
right,
Man, I could probably count on one or, I mean, outside of like family, I've got a cousin that hunts. He deer hunts quite frequently and stuff like that. And I hunt, like we'll go hunting. My family's got a little farm, and so we both hunt on that. But outside of that, I mean, people that I'm
yeah,
not related to. Man, I could probably count on my hands how many times I've been hunting with black folks. Really.
yeah, that's me, man. I grew up. My dad was a big rabbit hunter,
Okay.
so I grew up with him hunting with him, and my uncle Kenny. He's a pastor. I grew up hunting with him a lot. But besides like them, besides my best friend, like I said, I can count on one hand. I mean, it's just I don't know if it's the stigma behind it or what. But anytime that I like and try to invite a person of color out to hunt, whether they're a new hunter or whether they're a veteran hunter,
Hmm.
there's always like something in the back of their mind, like, hey, I don't know if I should do this or not. Is it going to be safe? And that's usually questions I'm getting from like their parents, especially
Yeah.
new hunters. And I'm
Oh
like, man,
yeah.
I'm real big into safety. He's like, I'm not gonna let your kid get hurt on my watch, But I think it's some of the veterans, they're just like, how old people are, man. They're set in their ways and they've got their own little group that they want to, and they really don't want to let anybody else in. And I'm like, man, you're gonna need to let us in, because once you pass, all your knowledge is gone if you haven't
Hmm.
passed that down to the younger generation. And that's my goal, man. I don't know everything there is to know about the outdoors and hunting, but what I do have, I try to pass that to the younger generation, so they'll have something to start with, or, something to go with. And, there's some of these OGs, it feels like they don't want to branch out and give us some of the knowledge that they have. I think that's to me, from my research and what I've seen, that's what I've seen. What about you? What do you think the problem is when it comes to people of color and hunting and actually telling people about it?
I don't know if it's like so. What I will say about it is, I feel like Kentucky is one of the hardest places in the United States to get people of color to come out and go hunt. I've got plenty of buddies from down south, southwest. I mean, they're doing great over at Oregon, Washington. They're doing good all these places. But here in Kentucky, I don't know. There's something about people here that it's like we've kind of forgotten how big our hunting heritage is as African Americans. Like we
For
were
sure.
crucial to hunting. I mean, do you think about it? And there's like there's people that should be household names that were famous hunters like Holt Collier. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the guy that kind of got Theodore Roosevelt. His nickname is Teddy Roosevelt. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
And so stuff like that. But it's like people here we've forgotten where we came from, but deeper in the South, it's like that's still front and center. You still got people that work on quail plantations and still train dogs. Some of the better dog trainers down there are black folks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like for some reason up here, it's like everybody will fish, but not everybody will hunt, and I don't know what it is. And but I do think there's a lot of so from what I've seen, like our grandparents' generation, they still hunted.
Right.
But there was something that happened in our parents' generation where all those people, kind of our parents' age, they gave it up and they did not pass it on to us. And I'm not sure what it is, but it's like around here where I'm from, that's what I see. Because it's like I know my grandfathers, both of them hunted.
Right.
Now they don't hunt like I do. They didn't hunt like that, but they did hunt.
Right.
And like, my mom, she doesn't hunt. My dad, he definitely does. He does not hunt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like for some reason that kind of died. And I'm not sure exactly what caused it, but I definitely think we need to definitely get back on to to passing it down. And it's like, I know you got kids, I've got a son, and I that's one of the things that I am most excited about is when he gets a little bit older and I can, kind of get him out there. I mean, he's 2.5 now. I took him fishing for the first time a couple weeks ago, so he got to catch his first fish.
Yeah,
But he tells me all the time, like especially during duck season, I like to waterfowl hunt. He'd be like, "Oh, Dad, are you going duck hunting?" I'll be like, "Yeah, buddy." He's like, "When I get bigger, I'm gonna go." And I said, "Yeah, you are too."
yeah.
So, but that's one of those things I just don't really know what about this area kind of made stuff. I don't know what happened in that generation to kind of make them step away from the outdoors and their roots to the outdoors. I don't know. But I know we got some work to do to repair that damage.
Do you think it had anything to do with the Jim Crow era?
I mean, I definitely think that has something to do with. I mean, yeah, it definitely had something to do with it. Um, I don't know if that specific generation. I mean, I do think that during that time period there was also a big fall off.
Right.
Um, it's hard to say what the exact cause is, but I mean, I definitely think things like that had something to do with it. And I almost feel like if I feel like people in Kentucky, they like I feel like when you go north, like north of Kentucky, the black people see themselves differently. They
Mm-hmm.
see themselves as northern black people, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. There's nothing wrong with that because that's what they are. And then I feel like south of here, they're southern. They embrace their history. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Yeah.
But I feel like in Kentucky, we're just somewhere in between.
Yeah.
And so with it being like that, it's kind of been forgotten. And people don't really want to be associated with that history that's in the South, even though that is our history. But at the same time, they don't fit in with the people in the North, and their history is different. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
I, that's what I've kind of always theorized is like, man, there's something about geographically here, and maybe something that went on. I'm not sure. That kind of caused us to kind of move away from our heritage like that, which is sad.
Right. Yeah, I don't. I've been trying to figure that out too, man. Because like you said, my dad he grew up hunting. He was a big hunter, and all my uncles. But my mom, she doesn't hunt. My grandfather was a hunter, both of them on my dad and my mom's side.
Mhm.
But like a lot of people in my family that were my dad's generation, they were like, "Hey, we're going rabbit hunting Saturday. Do you want to go?" Like, no, we don't hunt. I'll go fishing with you,
Yeah.
but they don't want to go hunting. So I don't know if it was just something, like you said, something that happened along the way, man. I'd like to figure that out for sure. But
Oh, me and you both, because it's one of the weirdest things, and it's like me and you are seeing the same thing, and we're in kind of two different areas. I mean, we're both in Central Kentucky, but you're a little south of me, a
right,
little west. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of people that I talk to, that's the same experience they have. Oh, my grandpa on either side, they used to hunt, but like they never showed none of us that. They didn't we didn't go do that with them, and like, oh well, my parents they never did that. And that's kind of the similar story that I hear from people kind of in our generation is like, oh, their grandparents hunted. And now I think they hunted for different reasons. I know my grandpa, he grew up my mom's dad, he grew up in Anderson County, and I know they kind of hunted. They was trying to get food, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
yeah,
Like
they were
time,
hunting to survive.
times were tough. And I don't know if it also had something to do with like back then there was no deer.
Right.
They if they saw a deer track, they
Mm-hmm.
would hunt that spot all season long.
Yeah.
There was no turkeys back then.
Yep.
So I don't know if it, but there was rabbits, there was squirrels, there was coons, there was, what I'm saying? Small game was still around. There was, there used to be quail and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But as far as big game, and I don't know if maybe that had something to do with it, where there really wasn't deer hunting, there really wasn't, turkey hunting, bigger game, and also, I mean, access. Because how many people do black folks, who are our age, that their family a generation or two ago had a piece of land, and then that
Not
got sold.
not a lot.
Oh, you don't. Oh, so around here for us, it's I know a lot of people that their grandparents had farms and stuff like that. Grandparents or great grandparents had big farms or farms, and their parents or grandparents sold those farms off. So there
Okay.
used to be a fair amount of black landowners, and now, I mean, dude, I think you could probably. I'm talking about like 5 acres or better. I think you could probably count them in this county. You could probably count them on one hand. The people,
See,
the black people that's got that much land. You know what I'm
see,
saying?
see where I grew up here in LaRue County. See, our farm that we have now, we've had it for I don't know how many generations. My grandfather actually bought the piece of land, and we've
Okay.
kept it through. But if you ask a lot of the black, the black like farmers or whatever around here, they had to basically find a piece of land later on in life because it didn't get handed down to them. Like
Yeah, no, that's
so,
true.
like basically here in LaRue County, um, most of your, of the Caucasian descent, all their stuff is basically generational. So it's like their
Mhm.
grandfather had it, it got sit, get to their son, and then it just keeps going down, down the road. And then eventually their kids will have it, and then their grandkids will have it. It's like that. But I got lucky, man, because the farm that I grew up on, I still hunt. Um,
Mhm.
a lot of people around here that are black, basically, they don't have anywhere to go to hunt unless it's
Yeah.
public land or if somebody invites them. Um, Now, my dad, he grew up in Somerville, Tennessee, which is right outside of Memphis, about 40 minutes outside. So he grew up on like a big cotton farm that his great grandfather bought. And they kept through generations, and we still own that piece of land down there now. But they grew up hunting the cotton fields, rabbits, quail,
Mhm.
dove. Back then, when I wanted to go deer hunting, I was in college. I was like, all right, Dad, I know about rabbits, I know about quail, I know about dove. Teach me how to deer hunt. He's like, son, we didn't have no deer growing up, no turkeys. He said, you on your own about this one. So luckily, I
Yeah.
found a guy named Clay Kirby down there who actually sold me a bow, taught me how to shoot in his backyard in like 10 minutes, and basically showed me what I needed to do to deer hunt. It was awful the first year I went out. I was freezing to death because I didn't have the right clothes on. Uh, I got a deer in I think it was about 35, 40 yards, pulled my bow back. My peep sight was all twisted up. I'm like, what do I do? Like it was just a bad experience, but those things you live and you learn.
Mhm.
So I tell some of these young folks, when they want to come hunt with me, I'm like, man, you're more than welcome to come hunt with me, but just don't think that it's going to be like you see on TV. You know,
True.
when you're out there for 10 minutes and here comes the buck of a lifetime, I said, these guys are hunting maybe 100 to 150 times before they get that on camera, and I think TV kind of, when people go hunting for the first time, I think that the TV kind of gets them like, oh well, so and so they killed a buck, in 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, but how long were they out there filming that before they got that little 10-second clip? Them just getting that, man. So it's it's different, man. It's different for sure, man.
No, it is. And it sounds like you kind of have some similar experiences like me because you had to learn how to hunt, like you said, deer and turkey and stuff
hmm
like that. And so, man, I can remember me and my buddy, we was out there on his parents' place and we'd sit there, we'd shoot bows. And I'm talking about we could shoot bows. We were very accurate. We'd shoot real good. Man, you get a deer to step out, man. We couldn't judge the range for nothing.
Yeah,
I'm talking about we shoot a whole quiver of arrows at deer. Wouldn't cut a piece of hair.
yeah,
I'm talking about what it was wild. But I mean that's just the way it was, and we was like, we were just ate up with it and just kept pushing and pushing, and we learned every. And that's one thing about hunting I really like is you're not going to be successful in terms of getting an animal every time, but you're always successful in terms of gaining information,
absolutely.
and that's the way you kind of got to look at it.
Yep,
The successes are not only harvest. That's not the only successes. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's been a lot of times I went out, I didn't see nothing, kill nothing. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't in the vicinity of anything.
yep,
But I try to make sure I learn something every time, and so that's made me to where now I'm pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Like if push
Yeah.
come to shove and you like, man, I need you to go out here and kill a deer, like more than likely I'll be able to make that happen for you. Or,
Yeah.
I need you to go out here and kill a turkey, like usually I can get that done, or but it's just because I've had so many, I've messed up so much. And
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things I really I want to do for people is I don't want people to have to go through all of the mistakes that I did because some of them are hard and some people won't persevere through those mistakes
Right.
because you're gonna feel like an idiot. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I know you've
Yeah.
been there.
I have.
And so it's like it's one of those things that I'm like, man, if I can teach you some stuff that's gonna keep frustration out of your hunting life, I mean, things are going to happen, but I'm saying there's some silly mistakes that like maybe you see a deer and he's looking right at you, but you try and draw back and then it runs off, or silly stuff like that, or not being ready, not paying attention, silly stuff like that. I mean, that you can teach somebody and say, hey, man, if this is happening, trust your ears. If you hear something walking through the leaves, go ahead and get ready because it might be that big buck. And
Right.
it's not always a squirrel. You know what I'm saying? Or what's the difference between a squirrel walking and a deer walking sound like? And
Yeah.
if I can make it easier to where, because I know some people they would love to do it, but it's like those trials and tribulations, that hardship, that pushes people away. And I'm not saying we need to make it easy for everybody. I'm not trying to hand out layups, but I
Right.
am trying to, kind of smooth that and ease that a little bit.
Yeah. I agree. So the hardest lesson for me to learn was wind and access. Because a lot of times, like if I wasn't hunting on a Saturdays and Sundays, I'd get there pretty early. Sundays I had to leave kind of early, to get to church and everything. But like if I wanted to hunt, say after work, I'm rushing home, throwing clothes on, grab my bow, grab my gun, whatever. And instead of me taking the long way to get to the stand, which I know the access is good, I'm not leaving a bunch of scent. I'm going to take the shortcut to try to get in my stand, knowing that I'm leaving scent and everything through there, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to get more out of my hunt and longer instead of taking the long way around, which I know, they're not going to smell me, they're not going to see me. But I can't tell you how many times, man, that I've taken the shortcut and that buck is standing right there and I'm just dead in the water. Like, well,
Oh
there
yeah.
he is. He's gone. Instead of me taking 5 more minutes going around the other side, the longer way around, I would have had a better chance than me taking the shortcut. And then wind access, I didn't think that was a thing, man. I was just like, man, as long as I got, my dead downwind and all that stuff, they're not going to smell me. You can't fool the deer's nose. I don't care what you have.
Nah, if they smell
Ozonics,
you, it's
it
over.
helps, but some of that stuff, I swear, man, it's just like that. You're not going to fool the deer's nose. And I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, so I'm setting up just anywhere, man. And all of a sudden I'm hearing deer blow at me. I'm like, I know they're not smelling me. And then I hear about, 2 or 3 of them run off behind me. I'm like, ah. What really
Hey.
got me was coyote hunting, man. I don't know if you've ever been coyote hunting, but
Oh
if
yeah.
you're coyote
Oh
hunting
yeah.
and that wind's not right,
You're not gonna kill
you're
coyotes.
not gonna kill
They're
nothing, man. Because they're gonna come
no.
from downwind of you, and if it's not right, they're gone, and you're
Oh
not
yeah.
gonna see them. So that wind and that access, man, take the extra time to find those good access points and those exit routes that you can get in and out of there without leaving a bunch of sand and everything like that. Those just little things like that, that I try to
Hmm.
tell people instead of walking straight through your field, to get
You
to
take the
get there.
edge or something.
Yeah, it's like, how come I'm not seeing any deer? It's like, well, where are you going? It's, well, I'm just cutting straight through the field. I'm like, well, you're leaving a bunch of scent. You know, there's a lot of those factors, and I'm like, I don't want people to think that this thing is easy because it's not. But
No, no.
I also don't want, like you said, these people to have like some of these deciding factors where it's so hard for them that they don't want to come back from it. Because like you said, some people's not going to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, and
So
that's true.
yeah, it's a true statement, man. But so would you say you're a better fisherman or a better hunter, or about 50-50?
I don't know. I'm a pretty good fisherman, man. I catch them pretty good. But I mean, I'd say I'm 50-50 because it's like, man, that's like hunting and fishing are my passion. Like that is what I love to do. Like if I got free time, that's what I'm doing. I'm hunting or I'm fishing. And it's like, dude, it don't man, it don't matter what it is. It's you was like, man, let's go hunt squirrels. I'm there. You say,
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Like it
right,
doesn't matter what it is. And then fishing, it's like, man, like most people, a lot of people have an opportunity to go fishing, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's still pretty popular and stuff like that. And it's like it's great, man. I've gotten to where usually if I go out fishing, I'm catching something.
right,
So, I don't know. I'd say probably 50-50. I mean, I'm more successful as a fisherman, but I think it's a little easier than it is hunting
right.
wise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So my dad, like I said, he was a Pisces. He's a big fisherman, big hunter. But like he was known in our county once he married my mom and moved to LaRue County, he was known in this town as a fisherman. Go back home to Tennessee, he was a hunter. That's what
Yeah.
he was known for. So, um, but my uncles, man, once my dad passed in 14, my uncles was like, man, I ain't had no good fish since your dad died. I said, man, I like to hunt more. You know,
Yeah.
I love to fish. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like I'm not as good as fisherman as my dad was.
Mhm.
So like hunting, I feel like it's better for me. Like I can go out and catch bluegill all day long, but like when it comes to catching these big catfish, like my dad was the man.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew it. So now people's like, man, you want to go fishing with me? I was like, yeah, I'll go. And then I don't live up to my dad's standards. Like,
Yeah.
man, you ain't as good as your dad. Like, yeah, I know. You know, it's like Michael Jordan's son trying to play basketball and you're following in his footsteps. So I'm like, okay, you know, I love to fish, but hunting is more my thing.
My dad's dad was like that. You know, he was known for as a fisherman. You know what I'm saying? He was known as a fisherman, and it's like I, and it's like, man, I produce and all. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't know. Like I fished a lot growing up, like that,
Right,
because that's something we did do. That's not something I had to like press real hard to get into because like we fished. Like I remember being a little kid and going fishing with my grandma and my great grandmother. You know what I'm saying? So
right,
it's like that's kind of something we did do. But now hunting for me, it was harder to get into. But like now that I'm here, I'm not going nowhere. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've put a lot of time and effort into trying to get better. And like I said, I mean, I just try to learn something every time I go out. And if people will take the time to kind of think like that, you'll be surprised how quickly you'll get better. Because there's been people that I've taught and I've taken, you know, they went from not knowing anything. I mean, probably not even know how to shoot a gun or even how to tell what kind of gun it is if they wouldn't know the difference between a rifle and a shotgun, and they progress 20 times faster than I ever did. But it's because it's trying to give them that good information and kind of
right.
ease that up, make it a little easier for them and stuff. And so, if people listen, and that's one thing I'll tell you too, that a lot of people, sometimes people get hung up on that, and egos. Hunting is really bad about egos.
Absolutely. Yes, it does, son.
Turkey
Woo!
hunting and waterfowl hunting are two of the worst about egos.
I'll
Turkey
trust me.
hunters and waterfowl hunters. I mean, it's egos will ruin you. But I will tell you this, and it's like, man, I feel like to be a really good hunter, you kind of got to have a little bit of an ego,
You
but
do.
you can't get your head too big, and you got
Right,
to always remember it don't matter who it is, you can learn something from anybody, and
right,
that's why I really like hunting with a bunch of different people because it's like I'm gonna learn something from you. You may not know you're teaching me that, but
right.
I'm gonna try and learn something from you, and vice versa. I'm gonna try and provide some good information for you as well. And so, if you kind of go about everything with that kind of mentality, then I mean, I feel like it's hard to lose.
Yeah. Yeah, I got into duck hunting, waterfowl hunting about a couple years ago, and I got bit with the bug like real hard,
It's
real
bad.
hard, to the point where my buddy Jonathan Hill just made me my own
Okay.
custom duck call. I am horrible. When I say I'm bad blowing a duck call, it's bad, but I'm working
We can
on it.
get you tuned up. We can get you tuned up.
I'm working on
I'm I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. People. I'm pretty good at blowing duck call, but like I said, man, it was hours. I'm talking about every time I was in the car, every time I had a free
Yeah,
second. Like there's always a duck call in my truck. There's
yeah,
one in there right now. If I go
yeah.
out there, it's a duck call.
I keep this one in my truck, and then I've got
Yeah.
another one, a goose call in there. Um, and I'm always blowing them when I'm
Hmm.
riding down the road. And if I get tired of that, I'm taking it out and I'm putting a turkey call in.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so I've always got something in my truck that I'm like constantly working on. But like
Oh yeah.
when I got so we hunt Ballard County, um,
Oh yeah.
up there, Ballard County WMA. I think it's Boatwright. I think that's where we
Yeah,
hunt.
boat ride or Ballard WMA.
Yeah,
I hunted both of those places. Like I
yeah.
shoot, I think I hunted. I didn't hunt boat right last year, but I went to Ballard WMA twice last year.
Right. So my
Uh,
buddy, I've got two buddies. One of those names is Mackenzie, and Lance. Lance, I played a lot of softball with here in Kentucky.
mhm.
And he's from Graves County up there.
Okay.
He went to Graves County High School, Mayfield up there.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Man, you need to go duck hunt with me." I said, "Man, I ain't doing no duck hunting." I said, "I'm not standing in no water, getting in no water, shooting no duck." I said, "For one, I can't swim." He said, "Dude, just go with me one time." I said, "Okay." This was like 2 years ago. So I get some waders off of Rogers Sporting Goods,
Oh yeah.
and so we get out there. It's like 4 in the morning. It's pitch black dark. Mackenzie's got this super nice boat. And he's like, just sit in the middle of the boat. And he's like, we might go over some stumps or whatever. Just don't freak out. And my heart rate is like this because I'm seeing nothing but like cypress knees and
Oh
trees.
yeah.
I'm like, this ain't gonna be good. So we finally get to where we're going. We're hitting all kind of stumps and cypress or whatever. So we get to where we're going, and my buddy's like, "All right, we're gonna set up right here." And I'm like, "What do you mean we're gonna set up right here?" He's like, "You get out of the boat, we're gonna stand." I'm like, "So we're standing in the water?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "You'll be fine. The water's up to my waist when I get out of the boat."
Oh yeah.
And my feet are freezing, but I finally get my gun hung up on like this tree, whatever. And I'm like, so once the ducks start coming in, once the daylight hits, these ducks are coming in and we're, smoking them. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, okay, I get
It's
it.
special. It's
And
special.
so the next year, man, like I went out and bought like a new shotgun. I shoot a Rete now. It's my favorite
Okay.
shotgun I've ever owned. I bought decoys, duck calls, made sure my waders were good, insulated wader pants. I did it
Mhm.
up right so I'm not getting cold. And so last year was a bad year for a lot of my buddies, but I found a secret honey hole that I'm the only person that can hunt out there. I can take somebody with me,
Yeah.
but I found a honey hole that nobody else can hunt. So everybody's like, "Man, Will, how come you're killing all these ducks and nobody does?" I said, "Man, I got a secret hole. I got a little honey hole. I can't tell y'all, whatever." So it felt good because a lot of them wasn't killing ducks and I was.
It was hard last year.
Yeah, it was a hard year, man. But I was killing some woodies, and some green wing teal. I didn't kill a lot of mallards, killed quite a few geese. But
Mhm.
anytime, like my buddies, I got a buddy that lives up in Shelby County, man. And
Okay.
he took me on my first goose hunt. I'd never been goose hunting before. Named Bryant Jones, love him to death. So the first, I think it was Thanksgiving morning, and we killed
Opening
one.
day.
Yeah, opening day, killed one goose. And he's like, "Just a bad day." I said, "Well, next time y'all go, if y'all got a spot for me, let me know." So he called me back Friday night and said, "Hey man, we got a spot for you Saturday morning." Killed a 4-man limit, 3 banded birds. Thought
There
it was
you go.
4 because there was 4 of us, so I didn't get a band that day. But it is what it is. I'll get my own. But you
Yeah.
talking about an awesome hunt. The next 3 geese hunts I went nothing like that.
That's, that's the way it is, man.
Yeah, but
It's like, man, those birds will make a fool out of you. But I'm telling you right now, when they do it right, there ain't nothing better. Oh my
nothing.
goodness.
I
It
love
gets my blood boiling. That and turkeys, man. Golly. There's something about when you hit that call and that bad boy
it. Yeah.
fires off.
Yeah, I didn't get to
Mm.
go turkey hunting much this year because my son was playing football, and
Oh, okay.
so I only got to go like 3 times. And I was the opening morning, which was about, well, I call it opening morning. I didn't get out there till about noon,
Hmm.
but
I killed a lot of birds,
yeah,
but then
I heard birds, man, but they were on the neighboring property where I can't, I don't have access to hunt. And the other 2 times I went out there early morning, man, they were gobbling their heads off, and then they flew down, and I don't know where they went. I couldn't get them to call, to answer a call or
yeah.
nothing. But a lot around here is a pretty hard year for on birds. But a lot of my buddies killed them. But like you
Oh,
said, man, dove hunt. Well, I love dove hunting, but duck hunting
oh,
and turkey hunting, man, Lord have mercy. I'm the hairs. Whew, I'm
oh
getting.
yeah. It gets. I get. I'm talking about like you said, man. It's like I had my buddy, the same one. He started the duck hunting and stuff, and I go with him to sit there, and I really wasn't that into it. And I don't know, something just switched. And I'm talking about when I got into it, man. I went and bought a boat. I've got a
Oh,
shed out
you
back
got a
full of
boat, huh?
decoys. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've got a boat. I've got decoys. I've got more money in calls than I care to admit. I've
Right.
got two Benelli shotguns, and that's only just two of them. I've got, I've got a bunch of guns and stuff like that. I shoot a Super Black Eagle 3 and a 20 gauge most time. Most time I shoot a 20 gauge.
Okay.
Man, I go. My wife is from Northern Illinois, so I go up there and goose hunt every year.
Okay.
This past year was just really bad, man. There was a bunch of birds there, but they've been there for months. It's real stale. But the first time I went, oh my God. It's like, you know how when you go to like Ballard County and you see those snow geese
Oh
and those
yes.
specks?
Yeah.
That's how the Canadas are up there.
Wow.
So imagine giant Canadas just in wave after wave after wave, and I mean they're everywhere up there. So like I look forward to that trip every year. I've been to Arkansas duck hunting before, which that was awesome. I didn't get to hunt the flooded timber. I've hunted flooded timber like public land around here, but down there I hunted a rice field, which is I mean it's one of those things you got to do. If you're a waterfowl, you gotta try those things. But like man when that bug bit me, it bit me bad. And it's like, dude, we live in the worst place to be obsessed with waterfowl hunting.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Literally, it is awful here, but I can't help but to go. I got buddies all the time that are like, man, you need to just give that up. I actually got a buddy now. He moved to North Dakota, so I'd like to be able to get to go up there one time and
Yeah.
hammer on him. Dude, he hunted like 4 or 5 times this past season. Killed a limit like every time in like 10, 15 minutes. I was like, man, you don't
Yeah.
spoiled. He's spoiled.
Yeah. I definitely wanna do some more. I haven't been anywhere. I'd like to go to Arkansas. I was talking to I did a podcast with my buddy Easy, Brandon Thompson. He's part of the 24/7 hunt crew.
Yeah.
And like he lives in Florida, but like
Hmm.
some of the experiences he was telling me about, going to Arkansas and going to like Canada and different places to
Hmm.
hunt, man, it's different. Cause like
Nah,
here,
it
like you
is.
said, in Kentucky, man, unless you're up there in Ballard County close to the Mississippi River, like it's not good.
No, Lexington's a hot spot, but
Yeah,
it's hard to get
Lexington.
permission in Lexington.
Right. Yeah.
I hunt with some boys in Versailles, and we've been on some burners. We there's good hunts to be had, but they're tough. So like up this way, man. If we're not going to Western Kentucky, your best bet is to go to the Ohio River. But that river is dangerous and
Yeah.
it's scary.
I've
It
heard
ain't it
that
ain't a joke.
I've heard that river's bad. Why do you think that's the like bad? I mean, I heard bad things about the Mississippi too, the mighty Mississippi,
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
But like for a duck hunter, man, I've heard like horror stories about the Ohio River. Like, why is that?
So man, it changes all the time. It's like the days when the hunting's really good is when it's the nastiest. I'm talking about when it's snowing sideways or the wind's blowing stupid and it's got a decent amount of current plus there's barge traffic. I've been out there in a 20-foot boat before and been between like rollers and the chop and like standing up in the boat and I can't see nothing but water all around me. I'm talking about it gets nasty out there. Actually, my buddy, the one I grew up hunting with, he was in an accident out there and
Oh no.
it was it wasn't good. He made it, but there was one of the guys that he was with that he didn't make it. And so, that river, it's nothing to play with. Like, don't get me wrong, duck hunting's awesome and everything, but ain't no duck worth getting hurt over. And
Oh no.
just you can't the water like you. It's hard to explain, but it's like, man, if you out there and a storm kicks up on you and that wind starts blowing against that current, you can get in trouble real quick. And it's like, man, I've got an 18-foot boat. I don't feel comfortable out there in an 18-foot boat. It's
Right.
like my buddy's got a 20-footer, and I like when we go with him, but it's like even still, there's been times where that boat did not look big. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it didn't feel big. And it's still, you just got to be really, really careful out there. And it's not a place to play around. It's not a place to take like a little boat. Like, man, even on a good day, I wouldn't get out there in anything smaller than a 16-footer
Right.
just because, man, you don't know what the weather's going to do, and if a storm kicks up on you, man, you can get hurt really bad or killed.
Right. Yeah. There's a story that my buddy Lance was telling me. I think he's told me the past couple of years. So these boys were hunting Kentucky Lake.
Mhm.
There was four of them with all their gear and a dog. They were in a john boat, and a storm kicked up, and I think one of them ended up swimming, like the boat flipped over, capsized or whatever, and they were trying to get one of the guys' waders off so he could swim for help. Well, he swam, we got help, and I think by the time they got back to him, they found the dog, but they couldn't find the other three.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like my buddy Lance, he's got a young daughter, and he's married. So a lot of times when we always go usually early January, like we're going duck hunting. His wife kind of like, hey, make sure everything's good because I
Hmm.
don't want that to happen to you. Which Mackenzie, he's a heck of a captain on the boat, but it's just stuff like that, man. I think it just scares a lot of people because
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got young kids out there wanting to go hunt, but that's a lot of equipment to have in a john boat.
Hmm.
Going across the Kentucky Lake, it's a beast.
No, oh yeah. In Kentucky Lake, man, it don't even have to be a bad day out there, but like a storm don't even have to kick up on you for you to get hurt out there. Because it's
Right,
like, man, if you spent much time out there, because I've hunted Kentucky Lake, and it's a really good place to hunt because there's big flats,
right,
but they're rock. And I'm saying you might be in a boat channel, you might be in a channel where you're good to run that motor, and if you get off 1 or 2 feet to the side,
yeah,
oh, you're wrecking. Like I'm saying,
yeah,
that motor's running hitting ground and you're wrecking,
yeah,
and it's all rock, so it's like it's not
yeah,
forgiving at all, and it's like I said, it's just it can be very dangerous. But if the wind blows wrong on Kentucky Lake, it is a scary place to be.
yeah. That's what I've heard. I've hunted or I've fished out there before.
Hmm.
I've never hunted out there. That's one of my on my bucket list to go out there and hunt. That and real food.
Real
But
foot same way. It's shallow, so it's like, man, I've seen real foot before where I swear you can see the bottom of the lake between the waves because that thing real foot is shallow and it's stumpy.
really,
Oh yeah, it's full of cypress knees and stumps and stuff.
yeah,
It's a real foot. It's a beast out there. But I mean, you gotta be careful and know where you're going and stuff like that. And that's what I'm saying, man. Don't ever get in a hurry, especially when you're duck hunting and stuff. I know people want to race to the spots and stuff, and I've done that, and we do that stuff every year. It happens every year we do that. But it's like don't try and do more than you're capable of.
right,
Just keep it within your bounds because it ain't no duck or goose out here that's worth getting killed over. And that's what I'm saying. And it's like, with the popularity in duck hunting, I mean the amount of you know situations that you get into regarding other people. It's like, man, I had a situation last year where me and my buddy's dad, we went out to Cedar Creek Lake here in Kentucky, which is the bane of my existence. It's not that good to hunt, but everybody thinks it is. So everybody wants to get there and stuff. I mean, it can be good. I've had good days out there, but we get out there and we pull up to the spot and there's like one spot that's kind of like the best spot usually, and we kind of pull up there or whatever, and we're getting out of the boat, we're starting to get stuff put out, and these dudes roll up on us and they're like, oh, there was a light there, wasn't it? I was like, I didn't see any light, you know what I'm saying? And then it could have gotten to a situation, but it ended up, luckily everybody used their brain and it wasn't a situation. But it's like
right,
people people don't play about duck hunting. Fights happen. I've heard of people getting in fights, and I'm like, dude, there is not. there's maybe one or there's not no there's not a hunting spot for waterfowl in the state of Kentucky that is worth getting in a fight over. There's
Right.
not. It ain't that good here. And but some people and they get tore plumb up about it. And so, you kind of got to be courteous. And like that's one of the big things about duck hunting is you got to kind of learn the rules and the etiquette.
Right.
And that's part of the problem is a lot of these younger guys, they don't know that
They
stuff.
don't know
Or
it.
they're
Yeah.
watching people on YouTube and these people aren't doing the right stuff. So they don't, you know what I'm saying? It's the blind leading the blind sometimes. And I'm like, man, there's certain things you just do not do. And year after year, I mean, it's public land, so everybody can be there, so you can't get too mad. But it's like, that's something we deal with a lot of up here because it's like there's a lot of people that want to hunt, but there's not very many good places to hunt. So
Right.
you end up with a lot of people doing some wild stuff. And I'm just like, man, what in the world? But it's like,
Yeah.
you try to let it roll off your back. Just,
Yeah. I've
it's
heard.
not right.
I got some buddies up here, African American. They've
Hmm.
hunted. I think they were hunting Arkansas about 3 years ago, public
Hmm.
land, and um, they get to the boat ramp and they're putting their boat in, and he said these three guys walked up and was like, basically like, what the hell are y'all doing here?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, what do you mean? Like, this is public land. He goes, yeah, but we don't take too kindly to your kind around here. And he's like, that's and my buddy, he grew up about an hour north of here in like Louisville, like the Louisville
Okay.
area.
Yeah.
And where he grew up was predominantly, black people. So,
Yeah.
and he got into hunting through a buddy of his at work or whatever. There happened to be another African American that duck hunted or whatever. But he's like, that was the first time in his life that he'd ever experienced like racism.
Really.
Just because of where he grew up. He's like, bro, I hadn't been
Yeah.
out of Louisville. I stayed in the West End my entire life. And he's like, when them guys were like, we don't take too kindly to your kind around here, he's just like, whoa, like, is this about to happen? And
Yeah.
so they got to, and he grew up fighting, so he was
Oh,
just like,
yeah.
man, you ain't gonna talk to me like that. And he's just like,
Yeah. In
man,
the
we might
West
as well
End.
just, yeah. He's like, I might as well, we got to get out of here. Cause he's like, if we do get in this hole, who knows if they're gonna come back and who knows what could have
Mhm.
happened. So like the OG of the group was like, man, we'll go somewhere else. So they found another spot to go and they ended up tagging out. But
Mhm.
it's just little stuff like that I guess a lot of people don't understand. Like with us, because like my wife, there's a place, there's some public land going towards like Raywick area, which is in like Nelson County, and it's kind of a
Mhm.
little rough over there. Like if you're, got a little melanin in your skin, you don't need to go
Yeah.
over there.
Oh
And
no.
it's just like one of the things. Like I don't feel comfortable going hunting with my buddies over there on that public land just for that reason.
Mhm.
And they don't understand. It's like, man, we ain't gonna let nothing happen to you. I'm like, I know, but there's always that possibility
Yeah.
that it could happen. So most of the time when I go hunting, I'm hunting public or I'm hunting private land with some buddies of mine. I ain't got to worry about all that, and I'm trying to explain that to some people. I'm just like, man, I don't want to end up getting in a conversation with somebody over a spot that I'm trying to hunt. That goose or
Yeah.
that turkey, that deer, it's not worth it. I want to get back home to my family. Have you ever been in any situations like that?
I mean, yeah, I've had situations, hunting wise, not as many. I've had situations like outside of hunting. I mean, like where
Oh,
I'm
for
from,
sure. Yeah.
I think it's like
Yeah.
maybe 2% black, maybe actually it might be less than that. I'm not sure, but it's like, dude, like you can count on one hand the amount of kids that were K through 12
Yeah.
black in school while I was in school.
Yeah.
But
That's my county too.
hunting wise, like yeah, I've seen some stuff, and in Arkansas, I actually have had it was experience kind of similar to that. It's like the people down there they're just a little bit different. But man, for the most part, most people they'll be standoffish at first, and then but as far as and I don't know if it's because of some of the exposure I've had and stuff like that, or like kind of a decent amount of people kind of know me around this area, and so I
Right.
don't know if that's like the reason why I've not had much trouble, or I'm not sure, but like hunting wise, not. I haven't really had as much trouble with stuff like that. I know what happens. I mean, I'm not naive at all.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there trying to think because I mean, I'm sure I've had it happen, but I don't know if I just blocked it out or what. But I mean, I'm positive. I mean, like I said, I mean, there's been plenty of times where we've almost gotten into an altercation over duck hunting or something like that. And it's like, man, it's wild to think that people are out here willing to fight and act all crazy for maybe a shot or two at ducks that we get over here.
Right.
Because it's like I said, it's poor over here, and it's like it's not worth it, like you said. And I just wish people would understand. And what I try and tell people, because I do have people that like I don't know if you look at like some of the posts that Fish and Wildlife put out there. There's people that say negative things on there.
Oh yeah, I'm in the comments all the time looking at something.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
and so no, and it's like people don't realize that. But one thing I try and tell people, and this is usually what I can do to get people to kind of be on my side about things, is I tell them like, hey, you like to hunt, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, you want your kids to be able to hunt or your grandkids or whatever. You want hunting to be continued, right? Well, yeah. Well, the only way we're going to be able to do that is we got to have more hunters. So you're going to have to let us in there in order for this
right,
to keep going, because the more people we have that care about the heritage of hunting and passing that down, that's the more people that are going to go to bat and defend that. You know what I'm saying? And to
right,
try and keep that going. And so usually when I break it down to people like that, then they quickly kind of change attitude and like, well, I guess he's right. So I
yeah,
kind of gotta we kind of gotta be nice and let people in here and stuff. But what going kind of back to the beginning of our conversation, talking about why it's kind of difficult for people in this area to get into hunting. I mean, I think a lot of that is, and it's not just here; it's kind of everywhere. It's called what I like gatekeeping,
right, yeah, yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like it's what we do, but it's not what y'all do.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I'll teach them. And luckily for me, you know, there were people that weren't like that around that I did get some exposure and learn some good lessons through. And so, that's just I'm lucky that that happened. And that's not everybody's reality. And like you said, people like us were out there trying to be that for other people because and I'll just tell you, like hunting is it's so important to me, and it's hard to even put it into words because it's like, man, I don't know if I would be here right now if it wasn't for hunting. Because I'm
right,
gonna tell you right now, the fact of knowing that if you get into serious trouble and you can't own guns no more and you can't hunt no more and stuff like that, that kept me out of some trouble. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was a thought in the forefront of my mind if I was getting ready to do something that I shouldn't have been doing.
that's me. Yep.
So, and I just know what it's done for my life, and if I can touch one person, or if what I'm doing can encourage one person to do it, then it was all worth it. So
That's it, man. So I got two more questions for you, man. I'll let you
okay.
go.
Oh no, you good, man. I've enjoyed talking to you for real, man. It's
That's
just like
good,
chatting with one
man.
of your buddies, man, for real.
This has been a good one, man. But hypothetical question.
Okay.
So you got a kid from the inner city, African American kid, male. He's been getting in some trouble at school, hanging out with the wrong crowd, but he's always been interested in the outdoors. He meets you for the first time, and he's very interested in what
Mhm.
you got to say and whatever. What's some advice that you could give him?
Man, what I would tell that kid is number one, I'd probably straight up tell him, listen, if you do right and take care of your business, you can count on me to help you achieve whatever you want outdoors. I will personally make sure that you can succeed outdoors if you take care of business. And that means no getting in trouble. That means getting good grades, doing your schoolwork, listening to your parents, listening to your teachers, all that stuff. If you do that stuff, I will personally make sure that you get to get outside and you get to hunt and you get to fish. I'm gonna take care of you. You want to go deer hunting? I'm gonna make sure you got a rifle you can shoot. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna take
Right,
care of you. And number two, I would tell him like, man, if you get into trouble, if you make that mistake, you might not ever be able to shoot a gun again. You might not ever be able to be around one. You might not ever be able to be out and free to where you could even bow hunt. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And so it's not worth it. And I would just try and encourage them, like, man, you know what I'm saying? Just keep trying to keep your head on straight and keep doing the right things, man. But it's like that's how passionate I am about this. Is I would straight up tell a kid in that situation, like, man, if you can do right, especially if I knew the background story, of the kid, getting in some trouble, maybe trying to go down the wrong path, but he was really interested in stuff, man. You can come with me anytime I go, as long as you taking care of your business.
Right.
And that's the deal I would extend to that kid, and I promise you, I mean every word of it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's great advice. Yeah, I've been mentor to a few kids in the past 5 or 6 years. And I just tell them the same thing. You take care of your business, I'll take care of you.
Absolutely.
They weren't into hunting or fishing or anything. They just needed somebody just to be there to talk to.
Yeah.
And I was getting through to a kid here. I'd say about 4 years ago. I'd go into the high school real early in the morning and kind of sit there and mentor to him. But COVID hit, and it shut everything down. And I haven't talked
Oh
to that
yeah.
kid since. I hope he's doing good. But
And that's one of the rough things about it is, man, it's like you can do everything you can do,
hmm
but to a certain extent, it's like, man, it's out of the ball's out of your court. It's like it's up to
yeah,
them to do right.
right,
So,
yeah,
but it's like you're at least you're out there doing what doing your part. You're trying,
yeah. I'm
and
trying,
that's
man.
all we can do. That's all
I
we can
do,
do.
I do what I can, man. But all right, man. One more, and I'll let you get out of here.
All right, buddy.
So, if you could go hunting or fishing for anything, where are you going, and what are you hunting or fishing for?
Man, that's tough. That's a tough question. That's a tough question. Any like just one dream hunt.
You can go fishing or hunting. I'll give you
Okay,
two.
okay.
You
Well,
can
I feel like it'd be a hunt for me for sure. It'd be a
okay.
hunt. Man, that's so tough. Like I love, love, love killing ducks and geese, and I want to say that, but I'm thinking it would be a moose hunt in the Yukon with my bow.
Sweet.
I think that would be like, man, like that's a bucket list hunt. I hope I'm able to do one day.
Yeah.
Um, but that'd be pretty awesome hunt right there, I think.
Yeah. I want to go elk hunting.
Oh yeah.
And like Big Sky, Montana. But I think the top of my bucket list now is gator hunting.
Oh, I'd love to do that too. Yeah, I've never done that. I'd like to kill a wild hog as well. That's
Yeah.
something I never did, man. I,
I've never
I
done
wanted
that
to kill
either.
one with my bow so bad.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to do that too. We might
but
we
I'm
might have to
glad we
get
don't
on
have
that.
them here. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man. No, for sure.
Yeah. I'm glad
Oh,
we don't
we
have them here because we got
yeah.
crop land and they tear
You're
up some
right about that.
crops.
No, it's a good thing we don't have them, but it's like, man, I'd love to kill them, but the problem I have is I can't bring myself to pay somebody a whole bunch of money to shoot a pest. They
Yeah.
don't want them there, and they
Yeah. They
gonna
don't.
charge. It back in the day when I didn't have money is when it was affordable to go, and that's when I wish I could have went. But
Right.
now, being an adult, you kind of got money, you can go places and stuff. It's
Yeah.
the prices just got kind of a little high, but it's like, man, I'll find somebody, connect with somebody. Doing stuff like this, man, you always connecting with people. You connect with the right person, they got some property, might got some pigs on it. But
Yeah.
no, definitely something I want to get onto. But man, I just want to thank you for having me on here, man, and getting to fellowship with you and have a good conversation and stuff like that. And man, I just hope that I hope that this could be the start of maybe a good friendship. Maybe we get on some
Sure.
hunts together. I hope I can shoot with you at TAC Air a little bit, man, because
Oh
that'd be a
yeah.
good time
Oh, we're gonna
for
find
sure.
time. We're gonna find
Oh
time
yeah,
for sure.
that's what I'm saying, man. Because it's like I said, I've never really had like a real good hunting buddy that was black, except for my cousin, and he just kind of deer hunts. Like he turkey hunts too, and but he lives in Lexington, which is a little bit away, and you know what I'm saying. So he don't really have the time. He's got two boys,
All right.
um, so like as the older we've gotten, the less we kind of got to do that stuff together. But he's got a son that actually killed his first turkey this year,
That's
and I got
awesome.
the pleasure of helping him set up his gun. He bought him a 410, and I helped him get it sighted in out there at the farm and all that stuff. And so, but he went out and he got his first turkey, man. And he was hyped up, and he said his son said. He said, since me, you, and they call me Baby Kenton. He said, since me, you, and Baby Kenton kill turkeys, I guess that means we're the turkey gang, huh? I said, man, we'll be whatever you want to as long as you're out there doing what you love, buddy.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm glad I got to get you on, man, because like I said, I've been following you for a while and loving what you do, man. It's just an honor just to have you on here, man. Like I said, hopefully this comes into a good friendship, brotherhood.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully we can, you have my family over to your house, I have my family,
Oh
and
yeah.
vice versa, and kind of make a big thing out of it, man. But
Oh man, that would be great because it's like I said, I know you have kids, and I've got a kid, and it's just like I think it's good for especially black kids to see
for
other black
sure,
kids doing the right things, and to see other black men and doing the right things and stuff
yeah,
like that. And so that's one thing I try, and I've got little cousins and stuff like that, and I always try to be there for them and try to be positive to them because like when I was younger, man, there for a little while I was kind of looking up to the wrong people.
right,
And it's like now looking back at it, it's like, man, I was so silly because it's like now knowing what an adult knows, them people, man, they wasn't nobody.
right,
But back then, you know what I'm saying? That you had that desire and wanted to be like them, or whatever. So,
right.
but no, definitely, man. I definitely hope that that it can blossom into something like that. And I'm sure it will, man. Because it's
Oh,
like I said, there's not
absolutely,
that many of us out here doing this. So anytime I can get a chance to hunt or fellowship with another fellow black person, I definitely try and take that up.
for sure. So let everybody know how they can get a hold of you on your social medias.
So I'm on Facebook, Kenton Bottoms. I'm on Instagram at KBot74, I believe. I don't even know what my own Instagram is. But so Facebook and Instagram are the two things that I'm the most active on. I'm on Facebook a lot, and Instagram I'm on a decent amount. I kind of fell off there a little bit. Instagram, man, just the trolls and the
Yeah.
just social media is great, but at the same time, it's hard on you because it's like, man, you see what everybody else is doing, you're trying to measure yourself against everybody else, and it can sometimes put you in a bad spot mentally. But I'm kind of getting back into it a little more, and I kind of want to do some more, videos and shorts and stuff like that. So, but yeah, definitely Instagram and Facebook or huntersofcolor.org. You can get on there and check me out on there. You get my contact information's on there. Kenton at Hunters of Color. Oh my gosh, what is the email? Look, honestly, I can give it to you. I can give my email, my Hunters of Color email. People can contact me through that. Like I said, but most people just shoot me a message on either Instagram or Facebook, and I'm pretty good about responding and stuff like that. So
Sounds good, man. Well, there was another edition of We Do This Two Outdoors with my brother Kenton Bottoms, man. So if you got any questions, you can hit him up. You can hit me up. Whatever y'all need to do. But y'all be safe out there. Be safe, be kind, be helpful. See you later, brother.
all right, we'll see you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.